That's fair. I mean, our audience is fairly small.
Yes,
so
but the internet is forever.
But the internet is forever. You are correct there. So, yeah, I thought for a second maybe I wasn't going to get it, and because I've got so many other things that I'm playing, but I'm totally gonna get it. Like that, once again, that's one of those perfect things to throw on my Steam Deck and just play in bed or play on the go or something like that.
I've been doing way too much of that with Fields of Mystery still. Fortunately, I think I've gotten to the end of the currently released content, so I can start trickling off, but
So, Splice, why are you apologizing for party rocking?
I'm not.
Good, because you shouldn't.
You're making stuff up again.
I am making nothing up. I heard a rumor that you apologized for party rocking, and if you're a real one, you never apologize for party or rocking.
I do not know
who started this rumor.
I just heard
his name starts with a K, ends with an Amizite.
Oh, Konamizite.
Yeah.
Freaking Konamizite.
What a sanctimonious prick. All right, it is 8:30. Let's get this party started.
But it's 9:30.
It's 8:30. My time zone's the only one that matters.
I mean, it isn't. It's never in the TV listings and such.
Seconded, Looney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The silence means he sides with me. It's dead.
He abstains.
Nope.
Oh no.
The eyes take it.
Do I have sound now?
Oh,
yes,
there
you
is.
do.
Yes.
Apparently, he doesn't have hearing now.
Okay, good. Because for some reason my mic just cuts out. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm starting us off. So here we go.
Okay.
When I was but a lad, Mario 64 had come onto the scene and had blown all our minds with what the N64 could do. We knew that Legend of Zelda wasn't too far behind. I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't see any commercials for it or anything. I didn't see anything for it till I went and saw my friend playing it, and he started up the game, and this sequence here in the Kokiri Forest booted up from Navi's perspective, and my mind was absolutely blown. I did not know what I was getting into, but I was excited. Welcome to episode 69 of I Think We Overleveled. Nice. And we're talking about Ocarina of Time. How's it going, gang?
No, it's going all right, As I was saying, I have an actual Ocarina of Time that was gifted to me.
Oh,
like a physical ocarina.
That's cool.
Nice.
I've seen
What's
those.
it made of?
Ceramic of some kind.
Okay.
That's what I usually see them made of. Because I had a friend who also had an Ocarina of Time that was made of ceramic.
I'm trying to remember whether Karina gave it to me or if it was one of my many, many siblings during the Sibling Secret Santa. But no, I've never played it. It's just too nice, and it just looks exactly like the one, all shiny blue and stuff. So I've just let it be a conversation piece on my book on my bookshelf. But yeah, pretty cool and completely off topic.
No, it's fine. This is the type of stuff we're looking for. So I don't know, Ocarina of Time. So for me, I didn't have a SNES growing up. It was my friend who did. So for me, this is actually the game that made me my first true enjoyment of a Legend of Zelda game. just because I
Oh,
hadn't
really?
well, 'cause I hadn't really been able to get into anything because like the original we didn't have it, and it wasn't so like the original wasn't so great that I was like, oh, I have to get this on the NES. And then like I said, didn't have a SNES, and so never played. I mean, I'd seen Link to the Past, but didn't really know it. So playing this, but like I was familiar with it, right? Like it's not like I was unaware. But seeing Mario 64 and coming to this, everything like so many it's amazing the jump in what they learned from Mario to this. The changes of perspective, the design of the rooms, even just the personality of the animations. Like when Link is waking up there, we just saw, and like he sits down and like he kind of does this little shuffle that is it's very childlike. It just they had already figured out so much more personality that they could put into these sprites. Well, it's not sprites, but models. And I don't know. This is a game that just for me has just always kind of held up, especially on the story side. I've never had a Zelda story I liked more than this one.
Really?
Yeah. I got invested in the characters. The other Zelda games, I don't know. All the secondary characters I couldn't care less about.
Okay.
I
yeah,
will
I can see that.
I will make a surprising thing here, and I will say I agree with Splice. I think Ocarina of Time is S tier, and I think all other Legend of Zeldas fall in line behind it.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with that take.
I'm definitely
I
not
mean,
going to agree
look,
with that.
I mean,
Actually,
like-
I've got a kind of hot take.
Yeah, I've got some hot takes too about this one.
But before we get
know,
too much further into it, does anybody know how long was it from Mario 64 to this game?
Too
Let's
long.
look at-
Like what? Like, are we talking like months, or are we talking like years?
I think years.
Let's see.
'Cause it was delayed.
Ocarina of
don't
Time came out November
98.
11th.
November 98.
Okay. And Mario 64 96. So yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a while, and it was delayed. I remember.
Wow, I didn't realize that. All I know is
Okay.
as I've mentioned before, my choice was: do I want to get a 64 to play Zelda 64? We didn't really know it as Ocarina of Time back then, or did I want a PlayStation for Final Fantasy 7? And that really was the defining decision I had to make, was between those two games, what system I got.
Well, and something that I think both those games kind of highlight the strengths of the CD versus the strengths of the cartridge. Because like
Oh yeah.
an area like this you couldn't have done on those old CDs.
Which is actually really interesting because my parents saw me playing both Final Fantasy VII and Ocarina of Time when I borrowed it from a friend, and of the two, I thought that Final Fantasy VII had the more impressive graphics because it had so much more effort put into pre-rendered backgrounds.
The backgrounds, it was definitely better.
cutscenes.
Oh yeah.
Like everything was so much better, but it was all pre-rendered stuff, But then when my parents saw me playing Ocarina of Time, they're like, "Whoa, the graphics look amazing on that. That looks so much better in your other games." So even though like I had personally thought that FF7 looked better because of the pre-rendered backgrounds, but the actual detail of the characters and the amount of polygons they put on the character models themselves is superior on the 64 because they don't have the space for the pre-rendered backgrounds, but they have the more powerful rendering engine. And so,
well, and
so
you
it's
can
like,
they can do wider areas because you don't have to set a frame.
Yeah, so it came down to like the graphics between the two. It's like it's an apples and oranges comparison because they have different strengths that they can utilize to make the game look pretty. But they're it's kind of interesting how some people could focus more on the rendering power and other people will focus more on the more detailed pre-rendered power.
Yeah. Well, and obviously we'll get to it, but when they get to to Hyrule Field. Like now it's hilarious because it does, now we have fully open world games and stuff, but man, back in the day I thought there was nothing. Like, holy crap, I can't believe there's an area this big. And now it's like I look at this game and it's laughable, the draw distance on these characters.
See, and I was actually a bit annoyed when I got to Hyrule Field.
Really?
Well, because it looks tiny compared to like a world map, right?
No, not for that reason at all. I got out and it felt empty.
Well, yeah.
Like it was
100%.
so big and it felt like there was nothing here. And so I felt like, okay, this is big, but why? Now I just have to run across a lot of space. And
Open world, but nothing in it.
yeah, that's kind of how it felt at first. But now I had such a mixed reaction with Ocarina of Time because A Link to the Past was my favorite game for a long time. It's still in my top. Like I think I put it on my 16.
Yeah.
And it's still my favorite Zelda game. But
and it's unquestioned the best 2D Zelda game.
But here's the thing. I was like, I really did love A Link to the Past. And I remember the feeling I got between, going from 8-bit to Link to the Past. And when the N64 came out, my first thought was, I can't wait to see a Zelda game on this. And it came out and it was really good, but the art style bothered me because I was looking for something more like, and I'm not talking about the graphical fidelity or anything, but like a Twilight Princess, which is a bit more grim.
Yeah.
I was looking for that, and they ended up going with this, chibi anime style almost. Like not full of chibi anime. Like I understand it's not Wind Waker, but they went more cutesy.
Yeah, well, but this is one of those you look at it and you can tell it's because of the limitations. Because an anime face you can paste onto a couple of polygons.
I understand that, but it's not just the anime. It's like, again, it's cutesy, a little bit goofy,
especially when you're young Link.
But like for characters, for example, like the one that comes to mind immediately is the Postman.
Well, and also Darunia, like he's just with his dance and everything.
Yeah, but like I'm just talking about like they went in a direction that wasn't the direction I was hoping for. Like, and I understand that there were definite limitations on the game, but like a lot of the dungeons actually did hit my aesthetic that I was looking for. Like like I loved the fire dungeon and the forest dungeon and the temple and all that stuff.
The Deku Tree is really dark.
The Deku Tree is dark, but it was the town that bothered me. It just didn't fit what I wanted. Now that said, I loved the game. I played the game. I beat the game over, just a few days because I was playing it so much. And I don't know, there were just aspects of it that did feel weird. I remember I was super bothered by Ruto. She just upset me.
No one likes Ruto.
Oh, yeah, she was an issue.
But it just, I don't know. There was just,
man, for me this was a far more mature game than I thought it was going to be in terms of its darkness.
See, and I was expecting more mature.
Man, because I don't know, like to this day, the Shadow Temple and most inside the well in particular, like
there were definite aspects of it. And you know what it was, honestly, looking back, and this is something I've noticed more and more over the ages, is just a lot of it was a difference between Western storytelling and Eastern storytelling style. Like the bottom of the well stuff, that is very, it's a very Japanese demon type character, which is kind of alien when you're used to Tolkien-esque stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it comes out of nowhere too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just like, oh, it's Kakariko Village. Nothing weird going on here. Meanwhile, then you get into the lore and it's like, oh no, the blood of many tortured people are buried beneath the ruins of this place, and it's actually a huge dark thing, and there's for some reason a river Styx that you have to sail on. I don't know. There's a
Mhm.
lot of really confusing things with the Shadow Temple.
But yeah, and again, I think there was part of it also was there was a what's the word I'm looking for? Disconnect, because you had that, but then like the text boxes and everything have like the little colorful things popping up. I'm just like, why is this so bright and colorful here and this so grimdark in the same place? And it unnerved me somehow.
Hmm.
It just and again, I understand this game absolutely was a game changer. I was like, most of my disappointment is because I had already had what I expected it to be, and it didn't match that. Not that it wasn't good, it just didn't match what I had in my head. And so that's mostly on me.
Now, this is my biggest complaint about the game. Dealing with the menu.
Really?
That was,
Well, I mean,
the iron boots was the
Yeah.
I didn't
worst
mind the
part of that.
menu at all. I mean, you got to equip 3 items. I mean, in
I did love that.
A Link to the Past, you only got to equip like 1 item at a time.
Yeah.
So
no,
being
but
able
it's
to
just
equip 3 was awesome.
it's the pause, do, the ring. And I don't know. It's one of those, especially on a look back. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, this needs to be snappier,
That's the other thing. It took, like, when you're moving, it took, like, there was just a little bit of lag between you inputting it and the movement, and it felt like it slowed things up.
Well, and it's where they had to, like, they put in the Z targeting, which is how the speedrunners absolutely busted the game.
The Z targeting I thought was a great addition.
I mean, the
what?
Z targeting was necessary. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Trying to control this game without it would be very difficult.
It's definitely been iterated and improved upon, but at the time, the Z targeting was absolutely game changing.
Well, when you think about it, the Z targeting was one of the biggest lessons they learned from Mario 64, because trying to get that camera to point where you want it to in Mario 64 was honestly more of the final boss than Bowser ever could be.
Well, and especially if on things like where you're trying to jump and jump into the arms of the owl and things like that.
But with Z targeting, one, it's like enemies that you need to face, you'll automatically face the right direction. And even if you're not trying to face an enemy, you could at least say, I want to lock the camera in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a game changer.
Now, I do want to say something. I've said some critical things about this already. I want to iterate. I did love this game when it came out. I really did.
How old would you have been when it came out?
I was 16.
Okay. Oh, see, that moment in particular, the log
cool
fall into the web.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm making it sound like I dislike this game more than I actually did, and I want to make that clear. I did love this game. I just had some issues with it that I didn't expect to have, but I absolutely did love it.
I will say I kind of felt like its scope was small, because like, I know Link to the Past, I replayed Link to the Past several times, but I put like many hours into it, and played it for months and years, where I'd come back to that game. This game, granted, I was borrowing it from a friend, so I was we did a system swap, so that probably did increase the urgency, but it took me 3 days to do everything there was to do in this game. And then I was, had no desire to play it for, I don't know, I think I've replayed it once or twice since then, but I kind of felt like there wasn't as much stuff to do, or it didn't feel as replayable as Link to the Past did. But like I said, part of that is influenced based off of the fact of what system I owned and what, borrowing versus owning.
See, with me, I had very limited time that I could play video games each day. So it took me much longer to get through it, because I had, like, after like school and doing homework and dinner and then whatever family stuff I had to do. I had like maybe an hour to play video games, but also do anything else that I was doing. And I was also in like 2 or 3 Dungeons and Dragons games at that point. I was so like
That light for you?
it took me. Oh, I know, right? Like, I mean, I was. Let's see. I'm trying to do calculations by how much younger I am than Baggins, which I know isn't much, but it's. I was like in middle school, but like I think I was like in 7th grade or like 8th grade or something like that when it came out. So it's one of those things where like I had so much to do that it felt like a lot longer for me. And again, it's one of my favorites too. I think part of taking it so slow is that I really took in, at least at the time, the story and everything that I was doing. And also, the unfortunate side effect of that is when I got stuck in a spot, I really got stuck in a spot. Like, it was common for me to get stuck somewhere for like 3 days because I had so little time with the game with each sitting. So,
Freaking water temple.
yeah.
Oh, see, for me, the one that drove me crazy and almost drove me from the game was Jabu Jabu's belly.
Which is water temple, but it's a fish now.
Yeah, I know. But the thing that now I will say the thing that brought me back was the Forest Temple.
Yeah,
Forest Temple is so freaking atmospheric.
Forest
really
Temple is like, honestly, I think the best dungeon in this game by a lot, actually.
I loved the Spirit Temple.
Which
To me, the Spirit Temple is completely forgettable. Every time I've gone through the game, by the time I finished it, I've already forgotten it.
Spirit Temple.
I love the Spirit Temple.
The reason
Honestly,
I liked the Spirit Temple was because it was the only dungeon that requires you to go back as a kid and do stuff. Which, because in the actual plot, they don't have you go back and forth that much. Where the side quests, they do it a lot, especially with the magic beans. But it was the only one where they required it as a kid where it's like, we can't get in. If only we were smaller. Wait a minute.
There was a little bit with the Shadow Temple as well.
Was there?
Not like actually once you're in, but getting to it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the one that made you go young Link to go under the well first, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Even though, like I say, for me, it's like I kind of feel like the climax, the pinnacle of the game, was the water temple, because honestly, all the dungeons after it are just such a blur to me. Like, they're so forgettable. The Shadow Temple and the Light Temple, completely forgettable for me. Like,
you mean the Spirit
I don't even
Temple.
remember half of what's in there.
You mean the Spirit Temple?
For me, that's
Spirit Temple. You see, I get the name wrong. It's the Spirit Temple, not the Light Temple.
Yeah,
that's how forgettable it is.
Yeah, because Rauru is the Sage of Light, and he just gives you.
It's way different for me, because I remember it hard, because that's when the Iron Knuckles show up, and that left a freaking impression upon me.
Yeah, the Spirit Temple is probably my favorite, followed by the Forest Temple. Just because I loved going back. I thought Nabooru was a cool character. I loved the lead up to it, going through the Gerudo camp.
Yeah.
Gerudo Valley is probably the most iconic song from this game.
Oh yeah, best song in the game, hands down.
Absolutely. By a country mile.
For me, it's the thing I remember about the Spirit Temple was playing around with the mirror shield, because it's one of the things that actually takes advantage of 3D space far more than a lot of the other things in the game. And man, I loved the mirror shield.
I loved the atmosphere. It actually had a bigger storyline inside the temple than any of the other temples as well, because you have to actually rescue Nabooru. She disappears in one ear, and so like it was cool.
Yeah, I got super invested in the characters, except for Ruto, who sucks. But ironically, Zelda's the one I cared the least about. It was all the sages I cared more about. It's
And
I'll
actually
Malum.
admit the sages were cool, and I loved how the sages were throwbacks to all the towns in Zelda 2 because I had played Zelda 2 a lot
okay.
Mhm.
So
and failed miserably at it, but I put a
funny
lot
thing.
of time into it.
Funny thing about that, there's a fun internet theory out there that I love that's obviously post hoc, because now Ocarina of Time is the hinge that the rest of the Zelda timeline rotates around.
Except that I've heard that they're looking at possibly throwing that out.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway,
They've already thrown out the Hyrule Historia.
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
but the Zelda 2, I believe it was the Fallen timeline.
Yeah.
And so it actually now comes after, which means all the towns are now named after the sages, but there's one town called oh dang it, what's the name of the dorky Deku kid?
Mido.
Mido, which is like, wait, how did he become someone worthy of a town being named after it? And so people have come up with these theories. It's like, well, wait, Kokiri kids age up when they leave the forest, and now that we see him at the celebration, so he left the forest, so he would have started aging, and they come up with this.
Kokiri kids age up when they leave the forest?
That,
Yes.
because that's what the magic is that keeps them young.
I never remember that. I don't remember that.
That might be like extra stuff. I can't remember. Because if you get lost in the Lost Wood, you become a Stalfos.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things that they come up with this whole storyline where he like he's still trying to make up for how he treated Link and stuff. Because you see, he's by the end of the game, by the end of the forest stuff, he's regretful for how he treated Link. Also, I just remember like seeing scenes like this. This is the stuff that I really liked with this game, just because I never got into the actual lore of the 2D Zelda games before this. And I don't know, this felt like this was trying to tell more of a story than those. Now, I will agree the 2D Zelda games, due to the nature of just how the 2D games work, are more replayable.
Well, like the 2D games, I mean, it was just the Triforce, whereas this one had added this backstory of here's how the Triforce came to being. And, well, I mean, that's not the only reason that the 2D games are more replayable. Like, I actually think, I'm trying to think, was it Game Grumps had a really good explanation of it's the combat. Because the combat in the 3D games, this one especially, more so than any other, it is very much a Z target, just wait for the right opening, whereas in the 2D games you're offensively moving, there's no waiting, it's go 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 go. And so because this game the combat is so much slower paced, I think that's a big reason why you don't want to replay this much.
I think it's also very true of just 2D versus 3D in general. The 3D gameplay, especially boss battles, tend to be less snappy than their 2D counterparts.
Yeah, though Twilight Princess solved that problem in a lot of ways with
the
hero shade movements.
Yeah.
Like the hero shade movements gave you options of, okay, I could wait for an opening to attack this, or I could create my own opening with these cool moves that the hero shade, which is a Stalfos of this hero, taught me, which I thought was really cool. But I thought the combat was just so much more active and better in Twilight Princess, particularly the GameCube version.
Yeah, well, they had to... Notice they had to make 2 different Zelda games in the 3D before they could make Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It took them some time to figure it out. Although, which boss fight in this was your favorite?
In this one?
In this game, I kind of like if I'm honest, I kind of like the Dark Link fight, the Shadow Link.
Where he jumps on your freaking sword.
Oh, I hated that one. I gotta look and remind myself.
For me, it's weirdly, the Shadow Ganondorf and Ganondorf are probably my two favorites.
I did enjoy that.
I hated Shadow Ganondorf.
Oh, see, I loved Shadow
in
Ganondorf.
the Forest Temple.
Yeah.
I love the
loved
Forest
that
Temple,
one.
but I hated the boss. I thought that was the hardest boss.
Really?
Man,
By a long shot. Like, Ganon was a pushover compared to Shadow Ganon. I don't know
Man.
why Shadow Ganon never listened to that guy. He was a pushover.
Man,
Shadow
that
Ganon
is-
could have ate him for breakfast.
that is not my experience. But I love the atmosphere of the paintings and having to. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
you have to go in first person mode, which in this game, going into first person mode is so terrifying because you lose so much vision and you're sitting here just like spinning.
Where?
spinning.
Where is he? Where is he?
Okay, there he is. There he is. Is it the real one? Is it the real one? And then it stops like, oh crap, I'm at the wrong one. And you have to like dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
Because you know that it's coming right behind you. It led to the whole horror theme that they had going on in the Forest Temple.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like it. I did not like that. I mean, that I will admit that mechanic's cool, but I personally didn't like it as a kid at all.
I loved it.
But like fighting Shadow Link and Water Master, like I think that's why I still like the Water Temple, even though people hate it. I think it had the best bosses. It had the two best bosses of the game, in my opinion.
Oh, really? I hated Morphos or whatever he was called. He was so easy.
Morpha.
Beat him in Morpha. That's what it is.
He was obnoxious.
I
He just annoyed me.
I just hook shot him and like beat him in like one go. It was.
Yeah.
I loved how it was a throwback to the boss in Link to the Past. You know, using the hook shot to pull the items. It also helped that. Well, you've seen my avatar I've used. I used that boss. You know, Link fighting that boss is my avatar on a lot of things. Like, you know, when we play marbles on your stream. I know you've looked at it like, what is that? I'm like, have you not played Ocarina of Time that you don't recognize it? But,
for me, that's how forgettable he was as a boss.
Yeah. Whereas, let's see, I'm trying to remember what.
I loved.
There's one that
Dodongo.
played bongos, and then the annoying sisters.
I loved Dodongo, and I actually liked the sisters.
Oh man,
Twin Rova?
I love Twin Rova.
I really like the sister fight, like the Twin Rova fight.
Yeah,
Just because it's like charge up the shield and then blast them. How cool does that feel?
It would be better if it were in a more modern game and a bit snappier. Just because you're kind of that one's definitely you have to wait. But the charge up nature of it made it fun to wait.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just found Twin Rova, those characters, really obnoxious.
Oh, they are obnoxious. And look, I might be
and beating them down is satisfying.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of beating up old ladies. Okay,
I am.
Sorry,
and I'm all for it. All right, here's the true final boss of the game: the menu with the owl.
Owl. You know what was the final boss of the game for my cousins? Buying the Deku shield. They couldn't get it. They never made it to the Deku tree. So I'm like, oh, cool. You have Ocarina of Time. It's like, have you played it? Oh, yeah, I've played it. How far did you get? I don't know. Let me check. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay.
And that's where you found out your cousins are morons.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, there was also, a lot of holes in their wall in the basement. It's like, what happened there? Oh, we were playing hockey down here with sticks and a puck. I'm like, in a finished basement. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
I guess better the basement than the rest of the house.
I suppose.
I botched that. I misread it and I clicked no, and it starts over like, no, take it. And I did it again because I was tapping through it, trying to get through it quickly.
That's when you spam through it and then you hit the default. Speaking of hitting the default, I noticed a bug in Expedition 33 that was driving me nuts. It was one of those menus where you hit down, but then it would automatically pop it back up, even though you hit down, and you had to hit down a second time. And I mismenued that like 5 times. It drove me nuts.
Is that a problem with the game, or is that a problem with your controller?
Nope, that was with the game. It doesn't matter whether I use the D-pad or the analog stick, and it only happens in that one dialogue.
Huh. I don't
So
recall anything like that.
it was in one of the Gestrel
Oh.
Beach mini games.
Okay, let's not talk about that because
Yeah.
we're.
But I'm
We're-
just saying it's a similar final boss. The just trying to spam through a menu.
This was another like the fact that this game had an actual day-night cycle blew my mind.
Oh yeah, the first time I saw a game do that, it was like whoa, like the town changes, everything changes. For me, that was Dragon Quest IV on the NES, but it was pretty cool they did it in this one too.
I did love it, but I will say there were more than one occasion. There was more than one occasion where, as I was heading to Hyrule Town, I got there like 5 seconds just in time to watch the drawbridge go up.
Just like, no.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
What a horrible night to have a curse.
Really is. Well,
Though it's funny as I get older that the day night mechanic actually kind of bugs me now because I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to talk to all the townspeople at night too. It's just too much. Like, if you're gonna do a day night mechanic, I kind of feel like you have to lower the scope of what's different between the two. Otherwise, it just gets tedious.
That part didn't bother me.
I mean, it was not a problem in this game.
And honestly, once you get the Sun Song, it really isn't as much of an issue.
True.
And they actually tripled down on that in Majora's Mask. Because it's day-night cycle, but there's also 3 days and 3 nights.
Well, I mean, they triple, quadruple, quintuple down on it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, I also liked, I mean, it's a completely secondary thing, but just finding out later on that the skeletons at night will get bigger the more of them you kill. Which is
really?
I didn't know about till I got because once you find out, oh, if I just stay on the path, they don't spawn. But let's see, this video might have it. Trying to see if I go forward if they start getting. I've seen it where people have hacked the game so that night stays eternally, and the skeletons start becoming the size of buildings. Like, it's a very subtle thing. You have to kill a lot of them to start noticing it.
Huh.
But I don't know. It was something that it was a very unnecessary thing to put in that they did. So
yeah, I don't think I ever noticed that.
Yeah, me neither. I was only afterwards that, and then I've seen enough videos that show it. Ugh. The Great Fairies were terrifying.
Oh, gosh. The most horrifying creature in the entire game. Makes all the bosses look benign in comparison.
I'm still terrified of Dead Hand, but other than that...
Well, okay, fair enough. But yes, the Great Fairy, those polygons could... I've seen comics of them putting eyes out, so yeah. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
It will. Oh, the other thing that Ocarina of Time just because you can taking advantage of 3D when you get the gosh, I can't remember what it's called. No, it's not called the Power Glove. What are the things that make you stronger?
The bracelets?
Yeah.
The Gerudo bracelets or something like that.
When you get the final one where you can lift like in that entire stone pillars.
Yeah.
I just remember when that happened, I'm just like, okay.
I love how that got referenced in Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, did it?
You get the glove weapon. Oh yeah, because one of the weapon is the power gloves or power bracelet, and one of his attacks, one of his combos is he pulls the pillar out of nowhere and swings it around, hitting all the enemies. It's amazing.
Nice. Very nice. But so one of the other things that I just remember as a kid, the thing, like, it blew my mind. Okay, this is another one. All these tracking shots. Just, okay, I call it tracking shot. It's like there's an actual camera, but where they really let you get a feel for the area because you're looking around everywhere. But the other thing I loved was their implementation of Kukos. I know it's not that different from the normal game, but the fact that you actually had to strategically use the Kukos to give yourself slower falling speeds for certain puzzles.
That actually was unique. The other games hadn't had quite that mechanic of them.
No, Kukos were just a thing of don't mess with them. You will regret
it. Yeah. I mean, they still had that here.
Yes.
But, which, I don't know, in 3D, I actually think in 3D, having the Kukos attack you was a bit more terrifying than in 2D.
Well, because they're coming from every angle now. You're just like, what is happening? I don't know. I also love that that's how, in Terminal Montage, how Link takes down Volvagia. He pulls out one Kuko, his Volvagia burns it, and then all the Kukos come and eat him.
So do you think Helians even know what chicken tastes like?
That's a fair question.
I mean, they raised them, but it's not like they could kill one and not die themselves.
What if they only attack mutes? For all we know, Kukos could be horribly ableist.
I don't know where to take that joke from there.
The chickens are bigots. Put it in letters.
Or maybe they only eat the eggs in Hyrule.
Yeah, I mean, look, eggs are great. I love eggs.
Eggs are amazing. Yeah.
The other thing I really and I love the Epona storyline.
Oh, it's great.
On the ramp.
Yeah, though it wasn't what they promised. I mean, I will admit, in a vacuum, I love the Epona story, but because I've been following all the hype and build-up and, beta development, everything that was in Nintendo Power up until that point, I'm like, really? This is what they ended up with that system? Even though,
so what you heard was all the hopes and dreams of what the programmers wanted to do, and what we got was the reality of them finding out, oh, this machine's way more powerful than our last one, but it's not that much more powerful.
Well, you know what's funny about that, actually, is they promised the system that didn't actually exist until Breath of the Wild. But now that I've played Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time, I actually think the Epona story and the Epona setup and mechanic is better than the really in-depth you can have multiple horses thing of Breath of the Wild. It's just, at the time, that's what I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. But now that I've experienced both, I like what they ended up with. But I didn't know that at the time because Breath of the Wild wasn't out yet.
And wouldn't be out for a long time.
Not for a long time, no.
Well, one of the other, because it's one of those things where you don't know what you want because you've literally never had a 3D Zelda game before.
Yeah.
And so you just sit there and say to yourself, oh, that sounds cool. And especially back then, we have no clue at all what the actual capabilities of the system is.
You skipped the ferry.
Yeah, I was trying to get to a dungeon, but yeah, that was the thing.
But yes, this is the most horrifying dungeon. I mean, it has one of my favorite items in all of Zelda, and I do enjoy the boomerang in this game. Does not change the fact that this is the most horrifying dungeon.
What? You don't like being in the flesh pit?
Yeah, the flesh pit, and then
having to take her.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I wish I could penguin her off the side so much.
Now the funny thing is in Wind Waker, where you had a dungeon where you had to carry around Medley, I actually didn't mind that dungeon. I didn't mind Medley. I actually liked Medley.
She actually helped. You carried her and she'd do the little float thing.
Yeah.
She acts like a Kuko. And
It's
so
like,
there's a puzzle solving element to her doing that.
so
Also,
like,
Medley's not obnoxious.
yeah, just between the personality and the extra utility added, even though they redid, basically this dungeon, it was fine in Wind Waker, whereas this one was just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ruto's the worst. But it's also so that's my biggest complaint about Twilight Princess. We find out Ganondorf killed the sage. We see the thing, but they're all the same. But it's like, no, you show me which sage they killed. I need to know how heartbroken or whether I'm on his side. If he killed Ruto, I'm with him. But so help me if he killed Saria.
Though I will say in Hyrule Warriors, Ruto was actually a pretty good character in that one. But I don't know. That's Hyrule Warriors, though.
Yeah.
I just realized, lore-wise, wouldn't Medley be like a great whatever descendant of Ruto or one of her kin?
Yeah, they are descended from the Zoro, aren't
Probably,
they?
yeah.
Huh. It's just sorry, just a thought that hit me.
I see where your brain went. You are not incorrect. No, this level is definitely very disturbing. Just like I got eaten by a giant fish thing.
This feels like a level that that deserves a remaster.
I forgot this was the mini boss.
Oh, I remember hating this.
Oh yeah, the Mega Octorok.
I want to get to the. So one of the things, it's a small thing that always strikes me because maybe it's just because I tend to obsess over this type of thing because I like putting it into my videos. But the formatics that they have of going into a boss fight, you get the cinematic, and then they have the name of the boss and a subtitle for the boss.
I enjoyed that actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why it is that there's something awesome about it.
I remember the first time I walked into that fight with Goma, and it did the whole, look around, look up, and like it felt cinematic, which they hadn't really been able to do with the other stuff. No, I really enjoyed that.
Well, it sets up the theme, the mood, the setting. Like it does set up to whole like you are going to engage in an epic battle now in a way that, I mean, as much as I love Link to the Past, it didn't really have that. I mean, all it had was you could hear the music, dun dun dun. But sure, the battle music was epic, but this, I don't know, it engaged more senses. It had that. It had more to draw you in.
You can also give more
game
info
that did the boss subtitle
that I can think of.
Because like that's something that I don't know why I didn't notice it really here, but I've noticed that in like some modern games. Like I think I've mentioned in the past, I play Genshin Impact, and almost every world boss and every raid boss have like some kind of like superfluously, needlessly long subtitle to the actual name of the boss, which is equally as impronounceable. So it's curious that you say that, because I have noticed that in other games, but I never put it together that this was the first one to do it.
I can't think of a sooner one, and I can't actually think of that many other games that had subtitles for the bosses. Actually,
I don't know.
Subtitles are like prefix or like
because like I don't think the other Zelda games have a subtitle for the bosses, do they?
Not that I can think of.
Not to my knowledge. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe,
I think it's
but
just this one.
But I don't know. They just the other thing that like doing these cinematic introductions to the boss can do is you can also use it to clue your players in on something, because where you choose to frame things with the camera can let you show off a weakness or something you should be looking at. And so it's a way to cleverly hide information. I forgot that this thing blows up.
Yeah, can you
Just
imagine
adds
that?
to
Can
the
you imagine that scene
horrifyingness.
today?
Yeah, it was.
Also, Medley's boss wasn't horrifying like that either.
No, yeah, I forgot how fleshy that boss fight was. Or that entire level was.
You know, I feel like maybe a lot of this was also kind of body horror in the early days. Now that I'm
Yeah.
watching some of these scenes,
Yeah.
because I'm like watching over some of these scenes and I'm trying to like remember stuff, and I'm like saying it's like, man, this feels like this could be at home with someone like the darker stuff today if it just had updated graphics.
Which, is ironic because, Baggins was talking about how it wasn't dark enough for him, but yet, in a lot of ways, it was pretty dark. Granted, we were
that's fair.
teenagers, like, by the time we were playing this,
Mhm.
but, like, I do know of people where their kids playing it were, like, 8 or 9, and a lot of
Man,
it
Zelda's
was
got an
almost
arm.
traumatizing to them,
I want to clock it how hard she would have had to have thrown that ocarina going that fast on a horse. Zelda's got a pitching arm. I want to sign her up.
Wouldn't that actually increase her range since she's already
'cause
moving forward?
You threw the wrong direction
Yeah,
for that.
she's throwing the opposite
Oh.
direction. She's throwing away. Like, she's got an arm.
Well, like before she was a princess, she was
Well-
in AAA.
Well, she was using her forward smash to help propel it forward.
Ah,
So there was
I see.
magic.
Gotcha.
Spoiler wise, before she was a princess, she was a goddess. So
True. But
In which generation?
the definitive definition of Ganondorf, coming up with this character, humanizing Ganon,
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, I will admit.
and just he's so freaking menacing.
I was actually looking for now that's another thing. And again, this is largely just because it didn't match what I pictured. They introduced the name Ganondorf in A Link to the Past. They talk
did.
about how Ganon was human before finding the golden power.
Didn't they just call him a thief, though?
Yeah,
Or-
exactly. And that's why it didn't quite match to me. I was like, wait. What's with this whole Gerudo thing? Like, I loved Gerudo Valley and the Spirit Temple and all that stuff. I was annoyed, again, just because it didn't match what I had in my head, that Ganondorf was part of it.
Gotcha.
And a lot of what happens, and this has continued to happen with each iteration of Zelda, every time they expand the lore, and it always expands it in a way that I'm just like, that doesn't fit for me. So
Well, Breath of the Wild
that's
and
why
then
they
Tears
have-
of the Kingdom, yeah.
Breath of the
That's
Wild,
why they
Tears
have
of the
3
Kingdom,
separate
Skyward
lores.
Sword did it.
Now, have you guys read it's not really a fan theory, but it's like a cute little thing which comes up in Legend of Zelda lore. The idea of anti-soulmates and how Zelda and Ganondorf are the antithesis of soulmates. Like they're destined to be together, but not be in love, to just hate each other and do everything in each other's power to just make the other one miserable.
I mean, I would just call that a
it's
nemesis.
The same 3. This whole series kind of has the whole reincarnation idea as part of it, it's more a mechanic to, redo the game without trying to keep a continuity too much,
Yeah. But it works with the idea of this entire world, everyone's just in this never-ending cycle, down to the point where even the shopkeeper, it's like how many beetles are there and stuff like that. I also liked the little musical interludes where you learn the songs. It did a good job.
I love the songs.
It made him feel more special by doing those little cinematics.
And it feels like they've been kind of trying to recapture that a few times. They did it with Twilight Princess, and they've never quite gotten it. They've never quite gotten there.
Yeah, Wind Waker's was lame compared to this one. And Twilight Princess, the wolf howling, it was funny, but it was definitely not this. It was more amusing, Like, oh, it's kind of like that, but not.
Well, and the other thing is that the songs were there, but they didn't have any use except for specifically right when you're doing it, you know?
Okay, seeing this part, here's a question for you, Baggins. What's your thought on the Master Sword being stored in a sacred grove of like a forest, protected by, the forest itself, versus in the middle of this temple?
So honestly, that works fine for me, just because temples are, can be temporary. They come down, if a grove grows up around it, works for me.
Correct me
I
if
mean,
I'm
either
wrong.
way, it's
Didn't
like a
Wind
sacred
Waker
location.
combine them?
What?
Like at the end of Wind Waker, didn't they sort of combine the concept? Like you go like because you drain stuff, you go into the Temple of Time, but like you then use the mechanic to like go into a grove, don't you?
Wind Waker went. No, you go into the castle, I think, don't you?
Yeah, you went into the castle down underneath the depths, didn't you?
Under the ocean.
I swear there was something with like a forest though down there.
There was the
No,
castle.
It was the castle. The forest, Twilight Princess had the forest, Link to the Past had the forest, and Breath of the Wild had the forest.
And for some reason, I must be combining my games then, because I swear like one of them combined the two concepts. I don't know. Anyway, point is,
Twilight Princess definitely did some weird stuff. The other thing that has bothered me is the game has such a weird relationship with continuity, because there are things that are, they keep telling us, oh no, this is contiguous, but it branches off in this way and this way and this way. But at the same time, locations often don't match up.
yeah.
And it's just like, okay, is the Temple of Time near Hyrule Castle, or is it near Ordon Town? And now I did like the way they handled it in Breath of the Wild, where it's just like, oh, there's the ruins of this, and then there's a new, like, it moved for whatever reason. Okay, I can understand like capitals falling and then them rebuilding it on a different location because they can't, yada yada yada. That actually made more sense to me. But it just bothered me. It was like, oh yeah, this is the Temple of Time. It's in the opposite part of the world that it used to be.
Well, I guess one that did combine the both would be Breath of the Wild, because like you're saying, the Temple of Time, the ruins were there, and it did seem like towned ruins around it. But yeah, the sword had been removed and placed at the Deku Tree, which in that one it's the forest, but it was the Kokiri forest essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas in Link to the Past, it wasn't the Kokiri forest at all. It was more of the Lost Woods, like
Right.
a magical maze of
And
woods.
that's my annoyance, is just the weirdness with continuity, because again, they talk about continuity, but then they don't follow continuity.
Yeah.
Though Breath of the Wild combined the Kokiri forest and the Lost Woods together. Well, I guess there was a Lost Woods section in Kokiri Forest in here. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, the Lost Woods are in Kokiri Forest.
my
Yeah.
favorite thing is still, I think it's one of Matt Pat's last of his game theories, where he talks about how basically Hyrule Warriors actually explains all the weirdness of all these combined worlds that don't make sense. And it's like, but it's expressly it and the CDI games are the only games that are expressly not canon according to Nintendo. He's like, why? It solves all your problems.
That's true. Especially, I really love Hyrule Warriors. I really do. It was a fun game.
Well, it's just the issue of like, okay, how is it in Breath of the Wild? How are there Zora and
And Rito.
and Rito at the same time? That doesn't make any
gosh.
sense.
That upsets me.
Yeah.
to which-
Well, especially after Wind Waker's like, oh, the Zora turned into Rito. I'm like, that's really weird. How did they go from bird to fish? I mean, fish to bird. That's strange. And then Breath of the Wild. I'm like,
he's like, he's just over here like, Hyrule Warriors explains it perfectly. Make it canon. And it's like, sure, you have to deal with the fact that your entire world's got crossed over because some goddess got thirsty for Link, but who cares? And the more I'm like, a lot of times I'll fight with you on these things, but no, you're right on this. This makes a lot more sense if we take this as canon. It even explains away all the weirdness of where, like, why objects aren't where they're supposed to be and stuff like that.
Well, and it's actually, I mean, even the whole like, oh, because the goddess got thirsty for Link, I'm like, well, if you consider Skyward Sword, it's like having goddesses fight over Link actually makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does. Oh, I was just laughing that he's over here. Explains everything. Yeah, it's the only thing Hyrule Historia expressly says is not canon.
Yeah.
So catch me up. Why is the Hyrule Historia being thrown out now? Is that like a Nintendo thing?
It's a Nintendo thing.
I think it's just because I think they want
Breath of the Wild.
I think
Which
they want to
then got
break
even
away
worse
from it.
with the follow-up of Tears of the Kingdom.
I think they're finally deciding they need to go full Final Fantasy with this.
Yeah.
See, which is funny because that's what I always like. After we went to Ocarina of Time, that's when I started thinking, okay, this is an anthology. Is it an anthology? Is that the one where it's like they're not necessarily related and they're that's how I felt it. It was once we got to, I think, either Ocarina of Time or
Ocarina,
or Majora's Mask. That's where my brain was like, okay, they're just a lot of different links that are unrelated. They're just telling the different story. And then Hyrule Historia happened, and it's just like, no, this is what's going on. I was just like, this makes less sense than actually just saying, okay, whatever is going on. And honestly, that's kind of what they've done with Mario. There is no such thing as continuity in Mario at this point.
I find it funny that you mentioned Final Fantasy because I have a friend who expressly does not like Breath of the Wild because he says it's a Final Fantasy game, not a Legend of Zelda game. If they'd called Breath of the Wild anything else, like when I met him, like I met him when I started working for where I work now, and everyone in the office are nerds, and so they're like trying to figure out what kind of nerd I am, and they're like, Breath of the Wild, it's like great game, like I pretty much enjoy it. It's like incorrect. It is a Final Fantasy game. I'm like,
what?
Oh, are we gonna argue about this? And he's like,
I'm sorry that I cannot let that take stand as
it's not my.
I mean, as both a Zelda fan and a Final Fantasy fan, it's like Breath of the Wild is like I said, everything that they wanted to put in the first Zelda game and everything they wanted to put in the first 3D Zelda game, Ocarina of Time, is the culmination that is Breath of the Wild. Yes, it feels very different from the Link to the Past formula, but when you actually look at the roots and what they were initially planning and what they wanted, Breath of the Wild is clearly Miyamoto's original vision. There's no question about it.
And I don't agree with him, and I immediately followed him up. I was like, well, Final Fantasy VII was the downfall of the entire series. So, like, I feel like that is, like, it's the same thing to him as that is to me.
Did you break him?
Probably.
He sat there and he started to argue with me, and then I laid, I laid my, Sephiroth isn't really a great villain. He's just kind of a dude with the mommy issues. You threw a rock at the planet and missed. And really, if you want to talk about great villains in Final Fantasy, it's Kefka, and then everyone else is just a distant second.
Oh, well, me and my friends, we referred to Sephiroth and, every boss since then as Kefka clones. They've been Kefka clones for decades.
Man, I'd be depressed if they were my clones. Like, I'm just saying. Like, Sephiroth. And
I'm not talking like literal DNA match.
Let's not get sidetracked on Final Fantasy VII in the middle of our Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Well, those games are contemporaries.
Yeah,
to be fair, Lunastar made this decision decades ago. He went with Final Fantasy VII over Ocarina of Time, and
I did,
and so I feel he has a right to.
I feel like I have every right to compare it.
I want to more focus on the fact that we have a Petrivka.
We do have a Petrivka.
We have a Petrivka?
We do.
I'm sorry, I'm an hour late.
Like regular Petrivka, Diet Petrivka, Petrivka Zero?
No, this is original recipe.
Oh,
Patricia,
Patricia,
right on.
have you ever heard of this new Zelda game they're calling the Ocarina of Time? Or I don't. It's like a I don't know. It's
It's
probably
like made
something
by
you eat.
Brazilian
the Ocho
indie
Taco of
people,
Time?
you know?
it's a cut of meat. Patricia, you have to answer the question: which boss was your favorite?
Gosh, right on the spot.
Yeah,
You've been lurking a while.
I've been lurking for about 5 minutes, so
yeah.
I
So
was
basically,
not,
forever.
like, for some reason the only thing that's coming to mind is Jabu Jabu. Not that it's my favorite, but it's the
Ah.
one that I remember.
You monster!
Oh man,
How about this? How about
we
this?
were just talking about
this
how
ins-
horrifying that was.
I mean, it was it was memorable because I remember it still.
How about this instead? Not who is your favorite? Who's your favorite boss? Which boss would you trap Splice in a room with? Which is probably still Jabba Jabba, but
I mean, okay, now like
Jabby
I
Jabby's not
gotta,
a boss; he's a dungeon.
I gotta go with the final boss, the final Ganon fight. That
Yeah.
stands out for me.
the
I don't know,
Ganon
if I
fight,
had
not
to-
the Ganondorf fight.
Sure.
Okay,
The
no,
one
I-
that's
I was just-
the one that's the Captain Falcon clone. I forget.
Ganondorf.
Ganondorf, then. No, so
I don't know.
I
Trap
re-
Splice in a room. I probably would trap him in with Twin Rova. That sounds amusing.
I would leave.
Yes,
don't
you
want
would.
I don't.
Okay, I don't think you understand the nature of traps.
No, I'm leaving though.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
you
but
understand. I'm leaving.
Again, I don't feel like you understand traps. Like the whole thing is you can't leave.
No, I'm gonna. It's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it.
I will worry about it. Like I set the trap. Like I'm good at traps.
Oh no, he's gonna dig into the wireframe,
what?
fall out of the level.
Oh, yeah, that's my goal.
Oh, he's gonna clip. Boom,
Yep.
speedrunner.
Well, speaking of, I looked it up. Like, what's the any percent speed run of Ocarina of Time these days? And apparently, the answer is 3 minutes 52 seconds.
Oh yeah, they have a wrong warp.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've had a wrong warp for a while.
Oh, I forgot about that. Where you just suddenly are at the like at the escape.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
so like here they bypass talking to Saria because they do something with like Z jumping so that it won't trigger your conversation with her. And they
Which
play
then
the
really
entire
sets up weird stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but my favorite thing is the fact that the speedrunners found out if you Z target like to get Navi to explain something in the middle of your jump animation with a Deku stick, it makes it so that the Deku stick is permanently in its hit animation, which as you're lunging, the hit animation has a way
I
more.
think I've seen this speed run before. Yes. The infinite attack.
Yeah, it turns into a
What's it
lightsaber.
called?
Like a
Yes.
buzzsaw. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think. What's their name for it? It is like.
Yeah, there was some name for it, but yes.
But then on top of it, just the fact that the quickest way to move in this game, it turns out, is sidestepping. And so you play the entire game with this weird camera angle during the middle of the speed run. And I love that, again, Terminal Montage always finds a way to
Absolutely.
to combine the storyline with the actual gameplay. But oh my goodness, what the crap?
All I know is like I don't think of this game as a platformer. And then you watch a
Just
speedrunner and you
flying up
realize
there.
it is.
But I
It's like
don't know.
Doom level of hype map hacks.
It really is.
I have an additional question here.
Mm-hmm.
This game, I'm assuming, is available on whatever Switch Plus.
Yes, on the
et cetera, et
64.
cetera.
Oh man, I
Have
should have my
any of
kids
you-
play it.
Played it?
I
on that?
haven't, but
Have they done
I've-
any of the corrections to like the? I know we were talking about the cameras earlier.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know the specific. I know when it released, there were a lot of complaints because their version of emulation basically eliminated the draw distance, which causes issues specifically when you go to fight Dark Link. Because
The
draw-
Oh, yeah.
suddenly you don't have the mist
Mm.
And
How does
so
he get past this fool here?
well, he has the
The
sword and
guy
he
that-
has the
Oh,
shield.
he already got this. Oh, I guess he did. Thought he had to, like, I don't know, do something.
What on earth is he doing?
I think he's setting up the wrong warp.
Maybe.
Yep.
I will say this ties in a little bit with our last week's episode. This was the one game that I experimented the most with the Game Genie for.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
like playing with variables and stuff, and boy, you can really mess up this game. It was also the last game I played with the Game Genie because I was afraid I had bricked my game. I didn't, but boy, I did some sort of weird levitating thing, and yeah.
Man, I was always terrified of bricking games with the Game Genie. That's why I didn't use it.
What is
I didn't
happening?
know I didn't even know that was a possibility. But then after I was messing too much with Oot, then I was just sort of like, maybe I should take it easy.
What on earth are they doing?
I
You can't even see what he's doing anymore.
He's off the
Look.
map.
Wait, what?
What? And
I don't know what just happened.
He's in the sky.
He's holding.
And the end of the
Nothing.
game.
Okay.
And now Zelda's talking to him. What?
She's all grown up and he's still a kid.
And that's the end.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 352 right there.
Yeah, no, just I don't know. Speedrunning just it's
I don't
hilarious
understand speed running.
when they start because like it always starts off like it looks like the normal version of the game just being played really well. And then as people start looking for bigger and bigger or smaller and smaller time saves, they find things that break the game, and then everything just goes absolutely nuts.
Hands in his eye.
So apparently this speedrunner was celebrating and has something to do with this otter Pokemon. At least I think it's an otter. Looks like an otter.
Yeah. It's what's it called? A weasel or
I don't know.
I mean,
I lost track after the original 150. So
yeah, everything
I'm not
after is a
good here.
Digimon.
I'm just trying to remember. It's weasel and what's the other thing in it? The evolved form.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the I don't know, the speed running, like it just the game no longer looks the same at that point. And my favorite is still, I don't know why, but my dad was with my nephews, and my nephews became obsessed with Breath of the Wild, and they were watching speed runs of Breath of the Wild, which at this point, Breath of the Wild speed runs involve you doing weird things with bombs that cause you to literally start flying, but you have to like wiggle the joystick back and forth to get the momentum pointing where you want. And so Link looks like he's having a seizure while floating in midair and flying at inhuman speeds. And my dad walked in on it, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's just staring at this. He's just like, what is this? And he was asking me about it. It's like, what game were they watching? Like he doesn't know what Zelda is. So it's like, I'm like, well, what is it?
It sounds like a phase my niece went through last summer, where like when
Are
she
you
wasn't
winning,
at camp,
son?
she just would watch like let's plays of Breath of the Wild and the other one, the sequel.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that's it. And just people modding them. And like a couple of times I'd come over and I'd like watch this, and I'm just like hear like these two, like I guess the proper term for it is goobers, just like clowning around while playing it. And like she just had a whole playlist watching it. And I was just like, is this what took the place of cartoons now? It's like that's just what she's into. Although she's being raised to be a good gamer. Right now she's watching Chrono Trigger Let's Plays and can identify every character song for every character in Final Fantasy VI.
Well, that's
Good.
good.
So, but anyway, like I don't think that's just your nephews were doing that splice. Like I distinctly remember that happening last year with my niece, So much so that her mom this year we were talking. It's like, yeah, she's watching. I forget what she was watching. No, it was when she was telling me she was watching the Chrono Trigger streams when Daddy was at work, because she makes him play the games so that she can watch. But she would watch the streams when she was off of camp, and she's like, yeah, it's so much better than those Tears of the Kingdom streams she was watching last summer.
I just remember because for me it was just my dad is asking me what game are they watching, and he's explaining it to me, and I'm trying to figure out from his explanation what he's talking about, and I have no idea. And then finally he's like, I don't know, he's floating in the air, but they was like bouncing back and forth, and I'm like, wait, floating in did he have a bomb in his hand? He's like, it was a blue thing. Is that a bomb? Like, oh my goodness, he's talking about Breath of the Wild. He somehow, his first introduction was a Breath of the Wild speed run, which had to be the most confusing thing he's ever seen. As people are just clipping through walls and falling through floors. Just what a way to get introduced to Legend of Zelda. Let's talk about starting at the deep end.
It is certainly a way to get introduced to Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, it is. All right. So I want to talk about like sort of what's interesting about Ocarina of Time as time has gone on. Is highly as I praise the game, and it is my favorite Zelda. I do think this game gets glazed a little bit. Because
like chocolate glaze, like sugar glaze, like what kind of glaze?
Like overhyped?
Yeah. Well, the issue is the things that hold it back are relics of its era as they're figuring things out, and it's very similar to a discussion of Mario 64, where they're having to figure it out on the fly. And
cameras and the Z target.
Well, I'm trying to think in Game Facts, didn't this game win like the best game of all time like 5 years in a row?
Yeah, yes. something insane. And it's like, I love this game. It's not the best game of all time.
It always came down to FF7 versus Ocarina of Time, which, as I've said before, they were contemporary games. They were competing contemporary games. And it's like, a lot of people had to make that decision between PlayStation and Nintendo, and a lot of people, it came down to those two games, and Game Facts is kind of evidence of it wasn't just me.
It's also evidence of there's a lot of bias towards your childhood, whatever your childhood is.
Sure.
And I don't know, it's always stuck out to me that this game gets so hyped by it, and so, but it gets, in my opinion, so a lot of newer people come back to this and like, okay, let's see what the hype is. And I think there's like, this is the best game of all time. And it's like, this is the best game of the time. Like, for a lot of people. This
was the best game of all time back then.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like with a lot of things, you have to appreciate where it comes from. And Mario crawled so that Ocarina could walk, so that everything else could run.
So it's kind of funny when you talk about it was the best game of the time, because then you could say like, well, this game that came after was better, but I actually don't think that game that came after that's better is that great of a game, which is kind of a weird situation to get into.
Yeah.
But
well, you know, for me, it's I still don't think they've topped this in terms of storytelling, for example. I just
like this dungeon in particular.
Yeah, it made me care about the characters and the atmosphere.
Now, when you say,
dude, the crooked corridors, like the corridors that like
rotated. I'm gonna find that.
The rotating corridor.
Yeah.
Now, when you say amazing. They, Splice, do you mean they as in Nintendo or they as in the gaming industry?
Nintendo in particular, since we're talking Zelda.
Like Nintendo, I will agree with you. Nintendo, this is probably peak storytelling for Nintendo.
I don't know if I'd go all in
industry.
Nintendo.
I'd probably have some arguments there, but
I just mean like Legend of Zelda, for example. This is still, they've never gotten me more invested in the characters.
Oh yes, this is the Final Fantasy VI of the series, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because I actually like the setting of Twilight Princess way more. I especially Midna, Link, and Zelda. I was far more invested than I were the sages.
I
But
can't even
there
remember
were
what Zelda
more.
did in that game.
But there were more characters that I liked in this game. Like I liked,
See,
like there was a larger quantity because there was a lot of characters in Twilight Princess I really didn't care for, namely the shopkeeper kid. Um, but I don't know. Like Midna, Link, and Zelda, I really really liked in Twilight Princess.
I should point out here, for the sake of clarity, I have only ever played 4 Zelda games. The original, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild. So, I don't have those other ones to go off of because after I left home and I was buying my own systems, I was buying outside of Nintendo. So, I don't know if that helps, but that is why I have the opinion I do of Ocarina of Time. I don't have like really anything outside of those 4 to judge it.
and that's fair.
Yeah.
I do want to also, like, Lunisar keeps also bringing up that, there was the PlayStation or it was the N64 to pick on, and that is a part of the childhood. Like, it's worth stating that, one of the reasons why I never ended up owning a PlayStation was because even at that age that I was at, I was in a house full of kids. And so whatever video game system was getting picked at that point was getting picked for the family. And so it was always going to be Nintendo because Nintendo was the tried and true family friendly one.
Yes.
And so some of us didn't have that option.
Man, I'm trying
That's
to
just worth
find
bringing up here for the sake
I've
of the
seen the hallway.
content.
There was one like you did get it at one point, but then
Oh, you're looking
skipped
for the
over it.
twisty hallway?
Yeah, and so I think
Lot to look
arrows.
through.
I think the arrows just they go a bit too far.
Yeah.
This is really the only
So you know what's
Zelda game I played.
You know what I actually think is the absolute best part of this game, though? I found the most fun was zipping around with the hook shot, especially the long shot, especially
Yes.
when you're in the Kakariko village.
Okay,
and you
so there are certain
every roof you could hook shot to.
yeah, so certain
so fun.
certain items just didn't make the jump to 3D very well. The hook shot is the item that is so much better in 3D.
Oh, 100%.
And then we get
But
double
I
hook
love
shot.
the hook shot. I love the hook shot in 2D, but like it was so limited, and now it was like you had an entire sphere of possibilities that was amazing. And being able to just zip around with the long shot in Kakariko Village, like I think I spent like a good 20 minutes just having fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marvel
don't-
realized, wow, maybe people just want to play Spider-Man.
And again,
Yeah.
that is one of the best things about Twilight Princess is just the double hook shot.
The double claw shot, and yeah, Spider-Manning around. That was one of my favorite dungeons in there. Yeah.
It made me absolutely love the boss in the Sky Temple.
Oh my gosh, that boss was every boss in Twilight Princess
yes.
is amazing.
And that's one of the reasons I love Twilight Princess as much as I did. The boss fights were amazing.
Though it makes no sense why you're suddenly heavier when you equip the iron boots.
Hey, that's in this game too, man.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
that's a feature here.
Yeah.
Bags of holding don't weigh anything.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It never bothered me until someone pointed it out, and then suddenly I can't unsee it. I'm like, no.
It's hammer space, man. It's magic. Give it a rest.
A wizard did it.
But how does he put the boots on?
Okay, so we've been talking about how iconic this game is. Did any of y'all ever see a recreation of the game in Minecraft?
No, I think we're about to get to the twisty. Dang it.
Oh, sorry.
Curse you,
I'm a
Aunt
monster.
Lemon.
I'm a monster.
You're a horrifying monster.
I apologize. That is No, but just there were some amazing recreations of. Let's see if I get to a part where he's actually playing. Of
Yeah,
course,
so
it's
here's
at night. But just, I actually downloaded a map. This was like back in vanilla days because that's when I played. And like I downloaded a map, and it was just unreal how well they had actually built it.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Was it Minecraft? There was another game that I played an Ocarina of Time map on. But for some reason, I want to say it was Left 4 Dead.
I mean, that doesn't shock me.
Left 4 Dead in High Oral Town? That'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what game was that? But yeah, there's like multiple games that put like the entire map of Ocarina of Time into
Seems
it.
like something maybe Killing Floor would have done more than Left 4
Yeah,
Dead. Yeah,
but I mean, it could also have been TF2. It could have been.
yeah, there's options.
I can't remember.
All I know is that Baggins is a monster. But
I sincerely apologize. That was not intentional.
the no, the detail on this is incredible that people can go to. I want to see.
Well, and the version that I found, there was also a texture pack that made it look like an HD version. It was like
Nice.
And honestly, I think I want, and I'm never gonna get, is Ocarina of Time remade in Twilight Princess's engine or a modern version of that.
Yeah, there's rumors going around that we're getting a remaster. I hope they go full remaster and like rework a lot of the mechanics to.
Like the 3DS texture update was pretty good.
I would want a full remake, honestly, just because at this point there have been so many different kinds of remaster, and I'm just like, okay, I want something else. Is that supposed to be the owl?
Looks like
Could
it.
be
Yeah.
could be a Kisi. I don't know.
Well, it's
was
where
talking.
Kapora Gebara waits
Oh,
for
it's
you.
true. Yeah, yeah.
That's him.
And so,
Did you get all that?
Freaking
no, I'll just tell you the whole thing all over again.
Oh my
No.
gosh! It's like that's like one of the biggest features of this game.
everyone messed
Like,
that up.
no!
I remember the very first time I was just like, he asked me, did I understand? And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's something else he tells me if I say no. No, he just repeats the
Just
exact
repeats
same
the whole
thing.
thing. The
I'm
whole
just like, oh, come on.
10, 12, I don't know how many. It was a lot.
Well, the other thing, just it's interesting, just from a game development facet, is the fact that at this point, Nintendo's never had a game with so many mechanics in a 3D space, and so they don't know how to train you to play it. And so I do think this game also has a little bit of over-explaining sometimes.
Mhm.
Just because they kind of have to on some level, right? You'd rather under-explain it than over-explain it.
Yeah.
They put in the
goodness.
jar room.
There is, though, I will admit, some current games I've played, they go way too far on the over-explaining. They like explain to the point that you've never played a game before in your life.
The thing in your hand is called a controller.
Yeah.
When you have like 10 minutes of camera tutorial and you're like, oh man.
Yeah. And I mean, look, it's really hard to know the exact amount you're supposed to do because you don't know how. But I like the series online of I forget what it's called, but the guy where he gets his girlfriend to play who's never played games before.
My non-gamer girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's very interesting to see what she struggles with as someone who hasn't played games before. Because she has a very different, like she doesn't like you see what are the assumptions that I make as a gamer that non-gamers aren't making. And
Which of these buttons isn't crouch?
yeah, exactly. those are weird things to point out, but the reality is we just sort of we end up taking things for granted because we've been playing games since, we were kids. And so something to us that's very obvious isn't obvious to someone who wasn't playing games for that long. I remember him showing her, I think it was, I can't remember, it was some zombie horror game. And like the introduction has like you escaping like the original like infection. And she kept getting in trouble because she kept running out of bounds in a spot that to a normal gamer looks like, oh, that's clearly just like you're not supposed to go there. But to her, it just looks like an open area. It's like, well, why can't I go there? And the answer is, because you can't. And it's kind of that simple. And I don't know, it's just very interesting. And so, yeah, it's a hard balance. It's why I still think Portal is the best game I've ever seen in terms of training you how to play it. Because it just happens so naturally.
Nah, Mega Man X.
That one's up there as well. I still think Portal's better, specifically from a non-gamer. But I also might be biased because I watched our roommate Mark, which Gordon will remember. Watch him play it, and for the most part, he got it. Although I was getting really frustrated watching him try to solve puzzles, and he would just kind of give up. And I'm just like, maybe you should take a step back and get some perspective on it. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I'm just like, Mark, go stand on that platform and look around. Because he just kind of give up. It drove me insane.
Is that better or worse than the killing the Lizalfos through incompetence?
I don't know. That that was just objectively more hilarious.
Wait,
now that was a different game, but
so Bill had Twilight Princess, and we had a friend named Peter who I met because one day I walk into the apartment and I know no one's in the apartment, and he's just there, just on our couch. I hadn't met him yet, and I'm just like, hey. He's like, hey, I'm Peter. Hi.
This was over Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
Is this the son of my professor?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just sort of he's like, Bill said I could play it. Oh, okay. Like, I'm just like, no one told me there'd be a person here. I was sort of...
Yeah, that's on me.
I was shocked. And so it's how I met him. And I watched this guy continually succeed through failing. He was in the Sky Temple.
This was the Water Temple.
No, it's definitely the Sky Temple because it had the falling platforms.
Okay, the one I'm thinking that I was talking about.
He did this multiple times.
Oh, he did this multiple times. No, what I saw, and I thought you were there for, is he was in the Water Temple where they have the gears that rotate. And then there's a Lizalfos fight in there, and he was like jumping around and dodging, and he kept getting closer and closer to the edge, and like he wasn't dodging, he was just like trying to attack and missing kind of stuff. And then suddenly the Lizalfos just fell off of the edge into oblivion.
Yeah,
and it was just like,
then it happened twice, because this was in the Sky Temple where you're in the Lizalfos fight where the edges of it, because they had those blocks that would just fall off into the Great Blue Yonder around the edge, and he had stepped on one and it starts falling. He's like, oh no. And he like kept running the wrong direction, grabbing a hold of the side of the next falling block, pulling himself up as it's falling. And he did this for like 4 straight blocks. And I'm just laughing at him, which is not helping his decision making whatsoever. And he finally turns to where he grabs the ledge, and the Lizalfo's like Z targeting him, and just sort of skips off into the area of blocks that he had just created, creating space for it to fall down to its doom. And
Yeah,
which I then lost it again because he had failed successfully.
That's funny.
And he just would do it all, like he was so bad, the game didn't know how to compensate for him. And so it would swing around to being brilliant. But no, anyway, Ocarina of Time. The game's awesome. Everyone should play it.
Yeah.
And a full remake would not be unwelcome.
I remember playing this game 3 times before I finally bought it. I rented it at Blockbuster. And the reason I remember Jabu Jabu so well is because I fought him so much. Because that was about as far as I could get before the rental was due.
And you could
That
never
is
get the
why,
same card.
that is
is
why I remember
absolutely
Jabu
fair.
Jabu more than anything. I wanted so hard to grow up, but I couldn't do it within the rental window. I was
I
not
don't
fast
want to
enough.
grow
No.
up because
No, that's
won't let me.
no. People always get Peter Pan and Link mixed up. That's Peter Pan.
You know, I wonder if part of the reason why after a point in the game it just is all a blur is because the Big Goron sword I'd put effort to getting and it was so broken.
Oh gosh. See, the Big Goron sword, I actually didn't even know that you were technically supposed to use the Megaton hammer in the fight against Ganon when you lose the Master Sword. Because I just pulled out the Big Goron sword. I was like, hey, I've got a different sword. And it's more
We
powerful.
all have swords.
I didn't never get the Big Goron sword.
Well, like, so you know how the Shadow Link fights like really hard?
Mm-hmm.
Not if you have the Big Goron
Not
sword.
with the Big Orange sword.
It's so long that it clips through his shield.
Yeah, I did not have that sword.
But the Big Goron sword was awesome. But I mean, the drawback was you couldn't use your shield, but it was
the
totally
best
worth
defense
it.
is a good offense.
Yeah.
Power
No.
overwhelming.
No, it was one of those things that and this is where I really think if you weren't someone who played RPGs, the concept of the Big Goron sword was just something I was not used to. The idea of a quest a chain quest where you had to follow multiple steps.
quest.
Yeah, and just over and over again. I had not even seen the concept.
Though at the same time, I kind of don't like how there's weapons that outclass the Master Sword like that. I feel like the Master Sword's supposed to be the sword of legend. It should be the best. Which, I mean, usually they put in the caveat as it's the only sword that can finish off Ganon, so you have to use it. But that's kind of a cop-out.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I liked about Link to the Past was the Master Sword, you never lost the Master Sword, you just increased the power of it. You tempered it, and then it got
infused with
powered up.
fairy magic.
Yeah, infused with fairy magic.
It's the reason
butter
why
sword.
I can't remember who did it. Someone did a ranking of who the most powerful links are. And I can't fully remember, but the Link to the Past link is the one that ends up winning. And one of the big deciding factors is his Master Sword actually upgrades over time. No one else does that.
Skyward Sword does.
But you're building up to the Master Sword.
Yeah, same thing with Wind Waker. You're building up to the Master Sword. You're not powering up the full Master Sword.
Right.
And well, then there's multiple games that Link has been in, so he has more experience. And I did like the concept of Twilight Princess Link was pretty high up there, and one of the reasons is he's the only Link to actually get trained by another Link.
Yep, yep. That was another
I'm
reason.
reading somebody making the argument that Wind Waker Link is the strongest because he pushes through his anxiety and talks within the game.
That's a different type of strength.
I'm sorry. Strength is strength.
It's
Well,
not.
What
the
did you
moment,
had to
depends.
go through as compared to Link's childhood trauma?
No, I will say
I'm
in
not in the
Brawl,
running.
Toon Link definitely is the best Link, but that's Brawl for you.
It's one of my favorite jokes from Smash House, which if you guys aren't watching Smash House, everyone should watch it. It's hilarious. But when Zelda confronts Ganondorf and about Link's missing, and he's like, "Wow, that's the last thing I could possibly care about." Okay, which Link are we even talking about?
Okay, Breakfast does have a point. The Breath of the Wild Master Sword does get the DLC powers it up, but yeah, that was after that death battle that you were talking about.
It wasn't a death battle. It was just a guy's list. He was just going through all the various versions of Link and which one would, in theory, be the strongest.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild wasn't a thing then, but still, I still think the Breath of the Wild one would lose. Why? Because his sword wears out.
Yeah.
Oh
Pete's
gosh.
sake. Dumbest mechanic ever.
Apparently,
The Master Sword wears out.
Hey, everyone deserves a nap, even the Master Sword. You try
No,
being swung
no,
around.
but
No, no.
You try being swung swung
Master
around by
Sword-
a vaguely elf-like hero all day and night. Man, like
The-
I'd want a nap too.
Dude, he did it
The
in his
Master
youth.
Sword gets century-long naps, okay? It doesn't need naps. Like, no, just no.
Yeah, but sometimes you sleep so hard you need a nap to recover
No.
from the sleep.
No, you're just saying
Yeah,
he's,
yes, you
the
do.
Master Sword's an old man-woman thing at this point. I want to call it a dude, but I guess Fee's a woman, so I don't know. It's weird, but it's a sword. But the fact is, it didn't have that restriction in the past, and now it magically does. It's like, what? Is it weakened now? And I don't know. It's dumb.
No, is it because the Master Sword needs a nap, or is it because Link's wrists he just hasn't worked out enough, and like he needs to put it down because of its awesome power, like a Mjolnir and Thor type of thing. Because
Cease your chaos
Thor
gremlin
can't
ramblings.
actually.
Well, once
Thor can
again,
actually wield the hammer. He needs like an actual girdle and gloves to help him wield the awesome power of it. So.
well, that argument still just reinforces the fact that Link to the Past Link would still destroy the Breath of the Wild Link.
I'm actually
Agreed.
looking at a list right now that's trying to make the case that the latest Link, the one in Tears of the Kingdom, is the strongest Link. Although it kind of contradicts itself within this sentence because it says he's the only one to keep the Master Sword, but then he loses it. It's so he didn't actually keep the Master Sword, did he? Again, haven't played it.
No,
but-
he broke it for Pete's sake.
So are we saying that the fact that he broke the Hero of Ages, the Sword of Ages, makes him more powerful, or that it makes him a walking calamity?
A walking calamity.
I will agree with this. Tears of the Kingdom Link is Splice.
Maybe it's Link's Awakening Link because dreams are just weird.
Well, the Link's Awakening Link is the Link to the Past Link.
That's true.
Yep. And that was
That's
part
one
of the
the
logic.
few direct sequels.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are very few.
Well, and isn't it the same Link as Link Between Worlds?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, it's the same. Like Link Between Worlds is actually a direct sequel, but it's not the same Link.
Yeah, though Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 are the same Link, but they're not the same Zelda, which is weird.
Yeah, that's
And not really the same genre of game either.
Nope, they're not the same genre of game. They're the same Link, but they have different Zeldas.
Well, and then there's
I feel like we have veered very far
there's
off topic at this point.
Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks, which Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass are the same Link. Spirit Tracks is the same art style, but a different Link. And it's just like...
Yeah.
Okay, well, Breakfast brings up 4 swords. That's a
It's a
something.
different sword. He's never even beat Ganon.
Aren't those isn't that the game where they've
Diamond.
genetically manufactured color-coded links and sent them out into the world?
No,
No.
it's the sword splitting him.
Anyway,
I like
we're past time. Let's wrap this up. Petrivka, how about you? Do you want to promote anything?
Play Peak. Peak is fun.
News on that. He has convinced me that we should play Peak, and I'm aiming on
Oh,
in 2 weeks. Would that be doable?
sure.
Now, is there a limit on number of players for Peak?
It might be 4 only. I never
Okay.
done it with more than 4.
Is it co-op or?
Definitely co-op.
Yeah.
Well, dude.
It's
well,
apparently
what's
on
the-
sale for $5 right now.
I'm just saying, would you need to buy multiple copies? Is what I'm getting at. Or
Yeah.
Is it the Steam
Everyone
thing
has to have their own, but
If
it
you
is
play-
like $5. So
If you
Yeah.
buy the sequel Twin Peaks, can you play with 8 players?
No,
Oh gosh! Oh gosh!
David
How-
Lynch tie-in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
I
not
did
David
that.
Lynching this.
Why not? David Lynching it is fun.
All right. I'm gonna need to let Kamizite cool down before he recommends David Lynch. Baggins, do you want to promote anything?
Oh gosh, I don't have really anything. I'm going back and finally replaying FF10 after decades of not having played it. But
Ha ha ha!
what?
This is his laugh.
Who even laughed? Who was that?
It wasn't me.
It was me trying to mimic Titus.
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Who's Titus?
Titus.
Oh, he's doing the thing where he deliberately.
Ha
misses-
ha ha
misses his
ha
name.
ha ha.
That laugh. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Voice acting has come a long way in video games.
Well, now
Yeah.
one thing that's interesting about that is just voice
I
in
think
that
was
one they were trying to.
purposely- I think it was purposely bad.
Well, but for that moment, but what they were trying to do is they were keeping the same animations and matching the voice, and trying to do the match the speaking to those animations, which doesn't work and makes certain things odd. For example, when Yuna says, "Okay," she's in Japanese, she's saying "hi."
Hi. Yeah.
In English, she's saying a 2-syllable word and trying to get it into a 1-syllable space. And it makes it seem very rushed. Anyway, complete tangent there. So yeah, that's what I'm up to lately. So it's fun.
I'm guessing you were inspired by Expedition 33 to play it.
Partially, but not entirely.
Okay.
All right, Kamizite, would you like to promote something?
Yes, I will promote 2 things as I normally do. First of all, my fantastic partner Karina J writes a story over on Tapas Entangled Enemies. Go and check it out. I have put the links in the self-promotion area, and also check out one of my song projects. This week, I will promote Sneak Attacks, The Ghouls of Gale, Ride Again for the first time. And if you just want to listen to one track, listen to the title track. It's basically just like a cartoon opening for a solo game somebody runs me on, and it is ridiculous and fun. And also, don't give Splice steak after midnight or before midnight or at midnight.
Give Splice steak at any time you think is prudent.
Gremlins.
Looney.
I'll promote a couple of things. First, I will quickly promote Link to the Past because that's still.
That's Zelda.
Mm.
Mhm.
I mean, I do love my Twilight Princess, but Link to the Past is an old classic that I kind of feel like to understand, especially 2D Zelda, you need to play it. And I will also promote Lizzie Petrichor, her stream of shiny hunting Pokemon. She actually finally finished spelling Lizzie. She caught a shiny Yamper yesterday, right at the end of her stream.
Hooray!
In
Huzzah!
fact, OBS decided to cut out on her shortly after she got it. 'Cause she was going to stream a bit longer to go for Yamask, and then it died. And she's like, well, stream's over, but I got it. So she finally got it. She finally got it.
Congratulations to Lizzie. All right, and you can find me twitch.tv/splicestream. We are coming into the stretch run of the Pro Amiibo League. We are having the final compound tomorrow, and then the next week we'll be having the actual playoffs. Should be good.
Well,
Is your compound ionic or covalent?
are there any
chaotic.
Cowboys in the playoffs?
Chaotic.
Never.
Well, even
Oof.
though Zelda is often misclassified, in my opinion, as an RPG and doesn't have the standard leveling system, I think we overleveled.